You know, I'm starting to empathize more and more with people who are claiming to have zombie burnout because it makes a lot of sense. We have so much zombie crap coming out these days, it's going crazy. Between Walking Dead being in the limelight all the time, games like DayZ and H1Z1, and that other one that we don't ever talk about. We've just got so much zombie stuff coming out. Is that necessarily a bad thing? I mean, hammering zombies to death with stuff is generally a pretty good time. Definitely a really good cathartic release. I mean, beating somebody to death with a baseball bat is made much easier and much more stress relieving when you know they're an undead fiend wanting to chew out your brain hole with their fists. So along comes Dying Light, another in the long, long legacy of zombie games. One that picks up from a lot of other games' DNA and provides kind of a new experience, but at the same time gives us a lot of really refined takes on older mechanics. Gameplay-wise, Dying Light provides a kind of an interesting blend of new and old. If you're a big fan of games like Dead Island or Condemned Criminal Origins, you'll see a lot of similarities on how the game plays. Even Mirror's Edge fans will notice that the freedom of movement is very familiar to them. It definitely draws a lot on these games for DNA, for its core, but it does give them a new twist, which makes it a very interesting experience overall. In terms of the world, you have a large-scale open world to explore. You explore it largely on foot. There's no vehicles or anything like that. Fortunately, this is made very fun and satisfying by the excellent parkour system involved in the game. I'm sorry. I love running around in this game. It's fucking great. I wish I could run like that in real life. That would be awesome, but I'm an old, lazy fuck who drank way too many energy drinks and ate too much pizza. So, wheezy after 5 or 6 seconds. Basically, in the zombie apocalypse, I'm one of the dudes you hit with a baseball bat. Sorry. But the world of Dying Light is very fun to traverse. Very enjoyable to move around in. There's a lot of open buildings to explore and scavenge. You can scavenge for weapons and supplies, items for people, items to sell, what have you. And scavenging and moving around the city are both very fun to do. As far as combat goes, it's extremely visceral and frantic. If you played games like Dead Island, you'll appreciate this kind of idea. It's very much a fight or flight. You gotta be making sure that you're not engaging over your heft. You gotta be taking care to know what you're fighting and how to fight it. There are variant zombies with different types of tactics to bring down, which are all pretty fun. There is also the inclusion of human enemies, which are also very fun to bring down, as they feel a little bit more like you're actually dueling somebody who's intelligent. They try to flank you, they parry your attacks, all sorts of good stuff. Gunplay is also present in the game, though it takes a backseat to the melee combat for sure. Gunplay is your fairly simple Call of Duty Iron Sights bullshit style, with ammunition being fairly rare, and the idea that loud noises are generally probably going to attract some unwanted attention from the living dead hordes. So, gunplay is generally downplayed. I only really used it when I was forced to use it against other gun-wielding enemies. Otherwise, I focused mostly on beating things to death with an electrified baseball bat. As for the crafting system, scavenging items from buildings provides you with your basic weapons, but you can upgrade them in all sorts of fun and interesting ways, such as adding a fucking blowtorch to an axe. Literally adding a blowtorch to an axe. Cut things in half and set things on fire. If you played Dead Island, you'll be familiar with this too. Definitely draws a lot on that DNA. In fact, the crafting system is almost identical. There's a few other systems like upgrading through quest rewards and scavenged items that you can't really craft. But all in all, it feels very similar to the way Dead Island did things, which I am all for, personally. The real kicker in this game comes in the day-night cycle. This is where you really start to feel these mechanics cohese into something unique. Now, during the day, you're very free to move during the day. There's nothing really impeding you, other than your own ability to climb, maybe the odd zombie horde that you just hammer to death with a baseball bat. Move on. During the night, we get a whole set of new mechanics. First off, night is pitch fucking black. You can't see 5 feet in front of your face. It's really dark. Your flashlight provides you with a little bit of view, and you'll need it if you want to be parkouring around like you do during the day. But really, it becomes a new, interesting world. Much more atmospheric. The other addition is of the night zombies. Certain types of zombie variants only come out during the evening and during the late night due to their photosensitivity. They are extremely powerful zombies. They are generally faster than you. They can climb. They are chasing you down and have a variety of attacks that are designed to eviscerate and kill you. They are very powerful and generally should be avoided. The inclusion of these zombies changes the dynamic of the game. You're suddenly going from being the apex predator, wandering around, making your way through the city, avoiding zombie hordes, to hiding and stealthily moving your way around, trying to make sure that you aren't detected by these new, dangerous volatiles. It adds a whole new dimension to the existing mechanics, makes it much more interesting. In terms of storyline, the game follows kind of a fairly basic boilerplate zombie story. City outbreak. City area gets quarantined. You get sent in to find a thingamajig that was left in the quarantine zone. There's betrayal that happens. People die. Boo. It's fairly basic zombie storytelling, and there's nothing too unique here. Although it is, competent in its telling. The characters, though, on the other hand, are fairly well written. They do a good job of kind of making you empathize with a lot of them, which is good. I enjoy it. There are certain sequences and certain characters that I'm definitely attached to within the game, which is awesome. They actually did a fairly good job of that. They're generally all voice acted fairly well, and you can understand all of their motivations pretty effectively. Even the minor characters are kind of amusing and have their own little bits of characterization that you see from time to time. The game soundtrack is fantastic. They put on a very good ambience that gets you kind of pulled in. Zombie sounds are, of course, zombie sounds. That's nothing too interesting. But the music is great. So all in all, Dying Light is actually a pretty competent example of a good zombie game. And those of you with zombie burnout who are saying to me, Matt, I've played how many fucking zombie games in the last, 6 months? I mean, we've been DayZing and we've been fucking H1Z1. The new Resident Evil remake just came out. Please, stop with the zombies. I'm going crazy. I'm losing my mind. Yeah, that's true. But this is actually one I would say is worth looking into, especially if you enjoyed a game like Dead Island, because it's very much a refined version of that, but with some new and interesting mechanics thrown in for fun times. And if you really, really can't get over that Dying Lightness, just pretend they're all tourists. Hey, which way to the airport? Could you please tell me where you are? Stop hitting me with things. That very much hurts. Thank you. Which way to the airport? I just want to thank everybody for watching my first real review outing. I hope you all liked my look at Dying Light. And if you did, and you're into that kind of stupid humor that I like, head on over to the Orange Hatter channel and give that subscribe button a little love. Or like or refer. Thank you very much, and happy gaming.